At that temperature, the glass is as hot as lava. It moves like honey, so it's soft and gooey. He's going to shape it up and start a bubble. To start the bubble, he will fill the pipe with air. Trap the air inside the pipe with his thumb. If you watch carefully, you're going to see the heat cause the air trapped inside to expand. Just like that, we have a starter bubble. That's how we begin the process, with a little bit of glass and a little bit of air. Now this is enough glass to make something fairly small, like an ornament or a cup. I know Michael does want to make something quite a bit larger for you today. So he's going to let this cool off and go back into the furnace for another gather. So he'll get some of his tools ready. And once everything's running nice and even off the end of the blowpipe, he'll head back to our furnace. Our furnace holds 300 pounds of clear, molten soda lime glass. He goes in, dips the bubble below the surface, keeps the pipe turning in one direction, and comes out with a second gather and enough glass to make anything you see here along the front. He shapes, centers, and cools the hot glass with this wooden scoop tool or block. And then he can begin to inflate this further. He can also use a pad of the local newspaper, fold it up, soaked in water, to shape that glass right in the palm of his hand. It's one of our favorite tools because it's soft and flexible. Now he'll return to the oven, get the glass nice and hot, and then I think he might drop it down into an optic mold. Which will give the glass some thicker and thinner areas or ribs, which will change how the light catches the glass. So look at that. So it's got this beautiful texture now. It's going to warm it up. He'll sit down at the bench. He's hooked up a blow hose, so tap on a foot pedal. It's going to introduce air through the hose and out into the glass. You can see the bubble getting bigger. He'll squeeze in a line right off the head of the blowpipe. That line will become very important a little later on. That's where he's going to break the glass, free from the blowpipe. It's like the thin, weak lines in a chocolate bar that allow you to snap it apart, share it with your friends. Same thing, the glass will break right along that thin, weak line. Now he's going to heat up the bottom half of the bubble. He'll tap on that foot pedal. He'll use the paper tool to cool and shape the sides. And he puffs this right out. So now we've got this beautiful shape. And back to the reheating oven before anything gets too cold. We never stay out in the room temperature air for too long. He's going to heat up the bottom half of the piece now. Just waiting for that glass to become hotter and softer. It'll come out. We'll point it up a little bit. And then we'll work together to create a mold between the two tools to create what we call a Roman style foot. We're just folding that bubble to create this beautiful foot. This is going to be the base of this vessel. The next step is to flip the whole thing around onto a solid rod called a punty. Punty is a little bit of glass on the end of a solid rod that'll act as glue. We want this to stick and hold now, but we want it to easily pop off when he's finished. So I'll shape this to sort of a Q-tip shape. Once we have this nice Q-tip shape, bring it over to Michael. He'll stick and place it right in the center of the foot. We'll run the two irons together. Making sure everything stays lined up and centered, and then all it's going to take is a few drops of cold water and a light tap. This should pop right off. Well, there we go. How about a big round of applause for a nice clean break. If you look now up at the screen, you can see there's a small hole left behind. That small hole will become the top, or the opening of this vessel. Now we're able to see what's going on inside this oven from a camera. The camera sits behind the oven and looks through a little window of a special type of glass called fused silica. Fused silica was developed here in Corning in the 30s. It's the same type of glass that Corning gave NASA to use for the space shuttle's windshield. It has a very high melting temperature of over 3,800 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not going to melt in the back of this 2,100 degree glass melting oven, or as the space shuttle re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. And because it's optically clear, it's what 3 scientists here in Corning used when they were developing optical fibers for fiber optics. It's what the laser light signals travel through because it's optically clear. He got the top of that nice and hot. You can tell by the little movement and some of a glow you might see. It's going to pinch and pull the lip thin and straight. Then he'll use a set of shears to trim away part of the leading edge. Trimming back into the thinner area and cutting it nice and straight across. Back to the heat. Just going to soften away the sharp edge. Open this up a little further. So we're using a soda lime glass today. It's the most common glass in the world. The 3 main ingredients are silica sand, soda ash, and limestone. Pickle jars, bottles, windows, it's all soda lime glass. The formula that we're using is formulated for glass blowing, so it's meant to stay hot and soft for a long period of time. He'll get this nice and hot. He'll come back, sit at the bench, and he'll open it up with those jacks. And now we're going to add a couple handles. So he's got a beautiful vase or bottle form. We're going to add a couple little handles. So I'll gather up some clear glass from the furnace. I'm going to shape this up so it's not as gooey and soft. Roll it on this cold metal table to sort of a cylindrical shape. Once it's the right shape, the right temperature, I'll bring it over, he'll stick it down, stretch it up, and reattach it back down on the side of the piece for a beautiful handle. Sticks it down, stretches it up. Cuts it free, swings it around, grabs a hold of the cut edge, curls it around, sticks it back down on the side just like that. Yeah! A beautiful handle. Now we're going to make another one that will match. So I'll shape this up the same way. Got the same amount of glass, get it the same temperature. All right, you ready? Sticks it down, stretches it up, crimps it, stretches it up some more, cuts it free, lets it cool off a little bit, sticks it back down the side, just like that. Got two beautiful matching handles. It's got a few seconds to adjust, but this is for the most part finished. Going for a quick reheat, and then it will be time to remove this from the punty. To do that, he's going to add a few drops of cold water to the punty connection, and with a very light tap, this should pop right off. Few drops of cold water, a light tap. We'll get this into our slow cooling oven for slow cooling and safekeeping until tomorrow morning. So it'll cool slowly over 8 to 12 hours.